GYG.
You've just turned on Gaming to Your Goals, where we talk about the cheat codes of life. From the beach to the rainforest to my friend's couch, I'm this guy EY, and welcome to the show. When I was little, I lived with my mom when she was a college student multiple times. I also lived with my grandma in a 2-bedroom apartment. I used to visit my father for a few weeks in the summertime. I have a half-brother and a half-sister. We have a decade plus of time between us, and their father was my mother's first husband. My name is Elijah Randez Young. I have my mother's last name, and my middle name came from an ex-boyfriend. My parents were never married, and they had me at 18 and 19. My father is once divorced, and my mother is once divorced, and now in a second marriage. My maternal grandparents divorced before I was born, but have been living together for some years. My father's father has an estimate of having had about 20 children or more. I'm married with 2 kids, and I haven't really been exposed to that before outside of my grandma's brother. We've talked seldomly about the dynamic, but we're just so far apart on how we've lived a life, it's hard to relate. My family is from Iowa, which was awesome when I was little. And as an adult, there are some fantastic things that have been engraved in my bones, like Midwest nice, which is just another way of saying suspiciously friendly. The harder parts of growing up in Iowa are things like passive aggressiveness, small talk, and remembering that my family and old friends are also from Iowa. That means that some things that are important to them are significantly less important to me, possibly even offensively unimportant to me, like watching the news, or showing up at events that don't get me paid in money, reputation, or in knowledge of something that I'm actively pursuing. It's not personal, but because I'm not a millionaire yet and find myself sometimes desperately waiting on my next check, I don't think I should really be leaving my house that often. If something isn't directly helping me feed my dependence, explore my passions, or relieve my high levels of unique stress, I can't justify spending time on it. It's usually difficult for me to explain because the older I get, the more I realize that a lot of people just go with the flow of life forever. I can't stand it, but as I grow older, I grow in perspective. What I've realized is that people who find joy in doing whatever it is they've always done, many of those people have true happiness, and I envy a piece of them. Wake up, go to work, have kids, maybe a basketball game here or a dance recital there, talk small talk to others about those things, and then die. That's a complete life for so many people, and I want nothing to do with it. I've been groomed in non-complacency for my entire life. I've lived a lot of living in a lot of places, and my comfort zone was and still is uncomfortably stretched on a consistent basis. For years, my time was, and sometimes still is, split at different homes and locations with different people, with different time zones ranging from mom, dad, stepdad, stepmom, grandma, host families in different countries, cheap hotels, expensive hotels, emergency couches, guest rooms, my friend's floor, flights and drives and bus rides extending over multiple days at a time. And I don't know anything else, and I think anything else drives me nuts. I don't necessarily miss things. The exception to this is the beach and my wife when I'm right next to her, because when you're busy like we've been busy, being next to each other almost feels like the most lonely. Anyway, I don't generally miss things. I just do the next thing. I don't believe I have the time to miss or reminisce on things in a traditional sense. Also, outside of a party, I don't generally invite people to things or events that others might consider crucial or important based on the framework of relevance and how I live my life. Because of how my life has rolled out and presented itself to me, I've found some interesting and unusual success. But when I was little to a teenager to early college, I was so confused about my family dynamics and how it all worked. To all the people that grew up with non-traditional family dynamics and just kind of wondering how it works and why it had to work that way. 1, you're not alone, and 2, you can use the tools and experiences that you've gained. You can use the instincts that you've developed from navigating and you can achieve a lot of things. I think that's all I got. I got an ebook out there on the market. Go to Amazon. It's Gaming to Your Goals. Type it in. It's a quick read. It's worth your time. Peace. Check out Gaming to Your Goals on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.